What is up on our plate for this week? Could Starfield delay help become game of the year? I'm sorry. Could Starfield's delay help it become game of the year? Will Counter-Strike 2 have enough bullets to dethrone Call of Duty? Is Sony right to fear Microsoft sabotaging Call of Duty if the deal goes through? All these answers and more on Season 7, Episode 10 of Press X to Start's Gamers Digest. I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka I got all the bullets. I am joined by
I am Sean MF Ross,
what the MF stand for.
the lingerie literati.
I know where that came from. That's awesome. And we are joined by
Avery, hello.
nailed it. Consistency is king, and Avery's all about consistency. Now you know who we are and a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Press X Starts Gamer Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube right now. That is exactly 3:01. We even adjusted for daylight savings, so almost got us there, but you didn't, America. Mhm. Every Sunday, 3 p.m. Hello, YouTube. All right, don't forget, you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. I did not forget, so you don't either. If you are listening, we would appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are tuned in on. If you're enjoying our conversations, you can by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/discord. Now that we've done all that, and I have this weird voice in my ear that sounds a lot like me, I think we can talk about what happened this week. Avery.
They got meds for that. Go ahead.
Oh, it's right here. This keeps me honest.
Mm.
Avery, what's up? What's going on with the gaming news?
Okay, so our first two stories are go in tandem, but they're about two separate different games. I'm wrapping them in the exact same bucket. We have two major game delays. Uh, yeah. Our first story comes from Tom Ivan from VGC. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League could be delayed to 2024. It is claimed. This is in reference to the fact that during this week, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was delayed. I'm pretty sure they gave it a release date towards the end of the. It was pushed back to
To later this year, I believe.
it was pushed back to later this year without it was pushed back to later this year without a definitive date, and all circulating rumors are that it's going to be pushed back much further. And then our second story is from Sissy Jing from Kotaku. Starfield drops in September. Deep dive direct in June. So, which one of these two games do you guys want to tackle first?
Let's do I almost said Starfield. Let's do Suicide Squad first.
Okay, yeah. So, Suicide Squad had a big state of play rollout to show off its game and its gameplay. And what a lot of people were left feeling was, why is this game a game as a service? Game looks fun. Why is this game a game as a service? Also, why does this game play the way it plays like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rocksteady did a lot in their video trying to convince people that this was the right play to make, but it very much feels like, especially in the wake of Gotham Knights, that this seems to have been a publishing decision from up high to make a game as a service. Both those studios have jumped into into those waters instead of just sticking to what they're good at. This one is weird because there's no, they're pushing it back. We don't have a definitive date, possibly to next year.
Yeah.
The game is on track to release at its original date. This isn't a delay because it's unpolished. Like, if you watch that state of play trailer, the game looks fine and looks fun for the type of game that it's supposed to be. So the question is, what are they trying to fix from now to the release?
Right. Right. Um yeah, see, I think that's a hard question, and the idea would be, okay, they push it back. They try to figure out how to market this game better. but that's if they are trying to push it back for this year. If they're trying to push it back for next year, I think that is also weird in that there might be some time to do something with the gameplay that could be a change to what we've seen. But even that's risky because you have less than a year in that case to like make this game work better. Like, also we haven't even played the game, so we don't know if the game is actually fun. We don't know
I
if the
mean,
game is as bad as it looks. Or let me not say that because there is a game there. It's just not what people was expecting and
Yeah.
it looks very generic in some ways. Like there's a lot of people comparing this to Outriders. Outriders was fun for the people who played it. They're comparing it to Anthem and even Marvel's Avengers. So those games were fun in their own right. It's just they weren't, they had shortcomings in whatever, field that they were in. So it is a really, really weird kind of place to be with this game. I think we were all pretty down on it when we saw it, as well as most
Yeah.
people. But yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting what the next, I guess, marketing push is for this game, if there is another marketing push for this game. What's your thoughts, Sean?
This is a tough genre to crack. I don't know why they felt the need for everything to be super balanced if it's not a PvPvE or PvP of any sort. Um,
I mean, what do you mean by balance?
Everybody has guns. Everybody has the ability to fly. Nobody
Like
seems to
everyone
have any,
shares the same kind of
from what we've
mechanics.
seen so
Oh, because like
far.
when okay, not balance, but everyone has the same gameplay loop. Because when you
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
balance and you bring up PVE, PvP, that tells me like, oh, like this is Destiny balance. Like
Well,
guns.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
when
too.
I
Yeah.
say balance, I mean as far as the character capabilities.
Yeah.
There's no reason to pick one or the other than aesthetic, cosmetics.
Right. Right.
That we know of as of yet.
That we know of. But I really hate to see Rocksteady fall flat on their face with this one. But I don't know. They had a vision, and I guess we just got to see what the hell they were trying to do when it comes to review times.
Yeah. And then there's the other side to this where when Gotham Knights came out, I think the hope was, all right, well, this isn't looking too great, but hopefully those resources are going into Suicide Squad and making that a more polished game. And at that point, we did see trailers that looked pretty good, like visually. But now that we get this gameplay, it's like,
I've
oh, oh
I've
no.
been on the
Well,
downhill on Suicide Squad from
yes.
Jump Street.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
minute the minute they were announced it was a Suicide Squad game, okay, they
Mhm,
said it was about killing the Justice League. I was like, okay, so you're not confident about it being a Suicide Squad game, so you threw
mhm,
in Justice League in there to market it. That's probably not the most uplifting decision. And then they showed it was a 4v4 game. 4 player game, co-op
Yeah.
game. I'm like, oh yeah, this
yeah.
is not going to be what everyone wants.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, that's that. I don't think based off of this conversation, listener slash viewer, I'm pretty sure you could tell that none of us was planning on getting this. I think the only person that was like higher on it was Jordan.
Nah, I was kind of hyped for the
Oh, were you? Okay.
presentation, like the story. I liked what they were showing us so far
Yeah.
until they showed us the gameplay, and it's just like
I like the cutscenes.
it's just shoot the glowing spot. Like I hope the story is pretty good, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't ever watch a let's play of anything, so I don't. I guess I may not be
Oh,
experiencing the story. So
yeah.
I have never watched a
Yep.
let's play
Like at all?
at all.
You hear that, viewers? He didn't watch our content. Can you believe that?
We
Can you
don't
believe
have
that?
let's plays. Shut up.
Hey, we had the one like Call of Duty thing, all right, and he didn't even watch it. Can you believe that?
That's because
Although
I
he
was
was in
playing
it.
it. You sucker. Gosh.
Oh man.
Yeah, Starfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Starfield, Xbox did the super bold marketing thing. They gave Starfield its flowers in their big thing of, hey everyone, every game you're going to see here is going to be in the next 12 months. Showcase was in, I want to say, June, July. So we are all expecting every game in here to have a release date from the next
Yeah.
year. And as a marketing beat, super great. And I'm not gonna fault them on the confidence here, but as someone who saw that trailer footage and was like, "Ooh, this is probably not. This is probably going. This is probably going to need a little bit more time." I was like,
Yeah.
I've been on the this game is going to get delayed beat for a long period of time. They didn't talk about it really much. There was the Xbox developer stuff, whatever, and I've been just waiting for them to give this game its date. Uh, During this week, it was delayed from, I want to say, June. Well, from no date in the first half of this year to sometime in September. Uh, uh, Star. We've had a lot of discussions amongst ourselves about what Starfield means to Xbox, and if Starfield is less than a game of the year, then because this is the game they bought Bethesda for. Let's like as
Right.
good as the rest of the Bethesda studios are and things like that. You bought Bethesda, you bought ZeniMax for Bethesda proper, and Bethesda proper's next game is going to be Starfield. It is fundamentally the only game so far of Bethesda's release that you're also not releasing multi-platform because you want it to be a system seller for Xbox. So this
Yeah.
game has a lot of heat riding on it,
Mm. That and
and
Elden Ring 6.
No, Elder
Not Elden
Scrolls.
Ring. You know what the fuck I mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, wait, Elden Ring? They got Elden Ring? Where they get that?
let's not talk about the Elder Scrolls. And I want to hear what uh, Microsoft's response to why that game is not going to be multi-platform based upon everything they've talked about over the last
Yeah.
year and a
Mhm.
half about the exclusivity in their acquired studio games. But yeah, so this game had a lot of heat on it. We're all in the mindset that it's going to be the selling point of Game Pass. It is also, or at least the point of truth of Game Pass to whether it has not real longevity because it has longevity, or whether it's going to truly be the ecosystem shaker that Microsoft believes it to be
Yeah.
beyond what they're traditionally doing. Uh,
Like if they get a really, really big boost from
yeah, for
Starfield, then it's like, okay, well, this strategy is working. Like you buy a AAA game, you foster a little bit, and you release on your platform, and you get a bunch of people to get on Game Pass, and they stay on Game Pass, and you just keep doing that until you've ruled the world or something
yeah,
like that. I don't
yeah. Yeah. Uh, I'm guessing based on everything I know about Bethesda, this is a polished thing.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
only put they
Yes.
pushed it back for like realistically 3 or 4 months beyond what they originally envisioned it to for. So I don't think this is necessarily going to be anything big because I believe fundamentally that we live in a time where Bethesda can't get away with the Bethesda bugs anymore. That they
Yeah.
can't release a game and
I
have it like
think they could if it was not on Game Pass because the only people who would be buying it would be Bethesda fans and they would be anticipating Bethesda bullshit. Now that it's going to
Hey,
be on Game Pass, people who would not normally play this shit have access to it just because it's the next newest big thing. I'm sure when it gets on there, it's going to be on the fucking splash page for Game Pass and all that. They're probably going to have hear their reviews and see all the memes on Reddit and shit. And I got Game Pass. Let me check it out. Oh, this
yeah.
is dog shit. I'll never play another. But they're
Hey,
trying to avoid that. They're trying to avoid
I'll
that, and
never
I
play
think
another game with Star or Field in the title ever
and
again.
I no, but I agree with Avery though. This is a polished thing where this is gonna get a much larger audience than it normally would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because people aren't
Yeah.
paying for it.
yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think, best case scenario, they had the game ready for, between the time that they did that direct in June, and they're like, okay, well, the game is ready. We do have a couple of bugs that we need to deal, or not a couple. We do have some bugs that we need to deal with.
Yeah, 3 months is not a couple of bugs.
Right. we have some bugs we need to deal with. And
Three
Microsoft's
months
like,
is you can't actually launch into space. The game crashes.
Yeah.
right.
We got to fix that.
We get about 5 feet off
Wait,
the ground, and then things just go really
wait a
bad.
minute. Is this Kerbal Space Program? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, but like I had actually went back and watched the that first trailer that they showed, and they like because I kind of missed a lot of the stuff that they talked about that's going to be a part of that game. So like you can build your own like
Spaceship.
base. Yeah, your spaceship. Like,
They're like it's like this game is fundamentally an evolution of shit they are working on in Fallout 4, but with the added bullshit of No Man's Sky, and
yeah,
which is why I'm still confident that when this game comes out, it's still going to be a Bethesda buggy mess. Because this is
mm,
them messing with a brand new engine. I think so. This is Creation Engine 2, right?
Mm.
I couldn't tell you.
I believe they're working with a brand new engine. Uh, this is going to be the biggest game they've ever made. They put on so many lofty. This is going to be a game of a generation kind of bullshit things where like the world's going to have thousands of planets that you can all land on and explore and go everywhere in that direction. And like my big fear is that like in between now and when people play
Real
that
quick, it
game,
is Creation Engine 2. You're right.
yeah, in between now and when people play that game, shit has changed. They've downscoped and they
Mm,
have to deal with the marketing BS around that. Like I vehemently remember Mass Effect 3 playing that, being told that this
mm,
game is going to have so many different endings that like it's going to truly matter what you
yeah,
play. And then when you get to it, it's like, here are 3 endings, and that's about it. Everything else you really did means absolutely nothing. I'm like, well, this is disappointing. And so that's my big fear going into this.
yeah, yeah. I definitely, as I said at the top of the show, I think this delay is going to set them on the path of this game becoming Game of the Year. I think even with its bugs, as long as it can be a more polished experience than the typical Bethesda game experience, that's going to affect a lot of people very highly. I think the only thing that could be a detractor for this game would be the fact that you're in space, would be the fact that you are finding these random planets. That is always a problem. That's always been a problem for No Man's Sky. That's definitely a problem where it
Well,
can
for like at
introduce
least for
like
No Man's Sky, as it's evolved, they've added way more stuff, and at its very base level, it's not a triple A like it wasn't a triple A experience. It was very much
exactly.
a high polished indie, triple I indie game, very highly polished. So no one was going in like people. It got hyped, but no anyone with any eyes didn't go into that game and like, all right, there's gonna be pirate warlords on this planet. I'm gonna get into a long
Exactly. Yeah,
sky
yeah.
quest. And it was like, no, it's your space mining game, going to individual worlds, which is what
Right.
Bethesda has to bring. Like it can't
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
be
exactly.
No Man's Sky, but with
So
better
that's what I was
graphics.
getting at. Like the the side that they really have to convince people is interweaving the Bethesda like decision tree systems that they're accustomed to having with this whole space theme, with this whole random planet stuff, with this whole base building, with this whole spaceship building. And it's like it's a lot that they have to do and it's a lot they have to nail. So yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in this. I think that this is going to be the game of the year, even though we have so many other really good games coming out. But it's really
I
early. I haven't seen much on
Yeah,
this.
I wouldn't.
I'm going ahead and
That is a
throwing it
bold
out there.
shot in a world where Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a bold shot. A brand
I
new
forgot
IP
about
was
that. I had that
a
on my
brand
list.
new.
And I forgot about. All right, you know what? In post, I'm gonna take this all
It's
away. I'm just
definitely
gonna be like,
if they play their
it's a good
cards
game.
right,
It's a
it
good
should
game.
be in the Game of the Year conversation. I don't think this
Yeah.
is going to be the definitive Game of the Year. But to finish this up, is anyone here going to play Starfield?
Uh,
I'll let Sean go
if
first.
I can access it somehow on something on CloudWise, or if I catch a lick off of an Xbox, mm,
Yeah, I I'm in a weird place because
I may borrow my
the when I
brother-in-law's Xbox. Go ahead.
yeah. When I saw it again, or like when I just watched the trailer again, I was like, oh, you know what? This is actually really interesting. I don't know if my brain didn't change. I don't know if I just got a lot older. Things just slow down in my head. I'm like, this is a little different from how I first, interacted with it. So I'm waiting on their June direct to see like what they have to say. And if like that's going to be the time where I decide like, okay, you know what, I will figure out a way to invest into this because I think this game has potential, or this game has a potential for me to have fun with it. So that June direct is going to be where I decide.
Yeah, I've already written this game off. Like, like if I'm being honest, I have a PC. I can absolutely run this game and play it fine.
Mhm.
Uh, I but after the Bethesda deal happened, I was like, oh, I have to play this game on PC. Then I saw the June Direct, and I'm like, oh, this game looks completely uninteresting to me.
Yeah.
The world that they explored in it is like was super bland and boring. it looked like No Man's Sky but bland and boring.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they showed off an extended shooting section, and I'm like, this gameplay doesn't look that interesting to any other shooter I'm
Yeah.
playing currently. And then you add on the silent protagonist exploring a world situation, then I'm
Wait, he
like,
don't
I'm
talk?
out. Yeah, you don't talk. The silent protagonist.
What the fuck? I didn't know that.
And we did a big
Sound
story
like, wait, you
where
don't talk?
we did a big story afterwards when they announced that they were going to do a silent protagonist.
I didn't remember this.
Yeah. It's a creative character, silent protagonist kind of thing.
For
But
all
is
that, I
that
might
is
as well
that
go play fucking Link.
is that the right? Is that the same though for like Fallout games too? Or is
Uh,
your character
Except for
voice?
Fallout 4 is the only one that people could your character had a voice, but every other Fallout game has been a voiceless protagonist.
I mean,
Okay.
they also significantly reduced the amount of shit that you say, like as far as dialogue choices. From what I've seen overall from the Fallouts, it's just gone downhill.
The
So
main
I
character's
could
like,
see
yeah,
why they did.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
cool.
I would say that, but games like Mass Effect exist.
Mm, mm. Yeah,
Who
that's
made
true.
Mass Effect?
BioWare.
EA, Bioware.
All right, man. I guess. I've not played. Look, I tried to play Mass Effect the other day. I didn't get past talking to the
No, Mass
dude.
Effect 1 is a like if you Mass Effect 1 is very much you have to be there type of game.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. Like trust
Daddy
me,
wasn't
I played that
there.
game. Anecdote, I played that game, and the game was so fundamentally not well thought out that if you picked engineer, the only gun you could use was a pistol.
I
And
guess.
that's how I originally beat Mass Effect 1. With
Yeah.
only a pistol. And I'm like, oh, this is not fun. Let's moving on to our next story. I'm gonna keep this short because this is from GameSpot.com. This is from Stephen T. Wright. Counter-Strike 2 is legit, coming just around the corner report. So this popped off really hard in my socials because of how into the Valorant scene I am, and pretty much 95% of the Valorant scene are retired CS:GO pros who couldn't make it in American CS because of how unfortunately uncompetitive it is compared to the other EU. So this is leaked by someone who is reputable in the sort of like that PC FPS shooter base. Counter Strike is weird in that like it is a game that's had like incremental evolution from the original Counter Strike to like 1.6 and then to like eventually to CS:GO. It's all been the same game with an evolution. It's been its most popular it's ever been this year. So it's one like as much as I think it's a dead game, it's 100% not a dead game, and it still has a very vibrant player base who likes looking at its PS3 graphics and Counter-Strike 2 is around the corner and coming, and it's going to be super interesting to see how it reflects the PC community tremendously, and how whether it's going to be another mass migration of talent from one game to another.
Yeah.
Do you see it leeching any talent off of Valorant?
100% with franchising. 50% of 50% of talent in Valorant is like there's no future for you. Like unless you're unless you're tens, you're not going to get signed to an org to be able to play this game. And only VCT is putting together big prize pool tournaments for you. So like orgs aren't looking for tier 3 teams who are looking to compete and are looking to get better. They're looking for tier 1 teams that they can get into franchising. And so like there are hundreds of players in NA and all over the world who just like don't have a future in the esport and will probably switch back. We'll see how big it is if it switch back.
Yeah.
It's rough to tell somebody that you don't have a future here.
My wonder is there going to be a console release for this?
Probably
I
not.
doubt it.
No.
Okay.
There's only
Granted, we did have.
Hence why I gave you
CS:GO.
that look when you said whether it was going to rival Call of Duty. And I'm like,
Hey,
what is he? He's smoking boners.
It was just to get people to watch at this point, you know. It was just to get them to watch, you know.
I mean, we have Call of Duty stories later. You didn't need
right?
to throw it in there.
Well, actually, since you've been watching, listener, surprise, it wasn't going to dethrone Call of Duty. Call of Duty is just a massive juggernaut. You know, it is what it is. But what you can do with this time that you have now is to like our video, you know, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And then if you are listening, what? Am I doing something wrong?
You like
Oh yeah,
1 week.
you know what?
We didn't
I'm just
finish
gonna
the
throw. I'm
current
just gonna
story,
keep going.
and then you
I'm look.
jumped. Okay, keep going.
Hey, 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 let
Move
him
on.
let him be great.
Hey, you know what? You know what? They don't know. They don't know what I just did, Avery. So all they know is like, oh, that was
Straight up,
a well
DJ.
placed
Straight up,
thing.
I'm gonna increase the font on all the news stories to like 25%. So you just don't walk over them like that
Or he
again.
could just put on glasses, Velma.
The issue is my screen because I have our beautiful faces up and then it's over the actual show notes. I'm just
Do you not have
going back and
multiple
forth.
screens, you broke bitch?
I have two, sir. I
That's
only
it?
have two eyes. All right, I can only split my eyes between the two monitors. All right, I'm not an alien, Sean.
You giraffe, you stupid long neck horse. Go ahead.
Long neck horse. That's exactly what a giraffe is. All right, Avery. Fix my mistake.
Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna end this Call of Duty story. I mean this CS:GO story. I'm wondering what is going to be an evolution of this game. Like, is this going to be an Overwatch 2, or is this actually going to be a brand new experience, or is this just like, yeah, of what it actually means for Counter Strike? Because that game has had the same maps, the same guns, the same economy, and like the same everything, or at least CS:GO, forever. So
Yeah.
I really want to know what this means, or this is just, hey, we upgraded the engine, and
Right.
it looks
Right.
better, and that's all we did.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is this actual Counter Strike 2 or is this like Counter Strike 1.5 or Counter Strike Go 1.5 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So our next story, this is from Tom Ivan, and this is confirmation of something we've been talking about for a while. Square Enix says Forspoken launch sales were lackluster. I wonder if this was a typo or this is how it's like. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, is that how they spell luster over
No,
there?
no, I use the word luster a lot. That's not how you spell
Yeah.
it. Unless they're French. Anyway, yeah. So there is a Square earnings call, financial briefing. I want to say the third. And well, it was the 3rd of February. This was the briefing would happen, but we only got
Yeah.
translation because Square is a Japanese company now, and they pretty much said, yeah, Forspoken didn't do well. Didn't mount our sales. That being said, we are here is CEO marketing speak. We are confident that we have learned a lot from this game, and we can bring the learnings from this game to other games, which is cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
At least they're still working on a DLC.
yeah.
Hey, oh, that's cool.
Okay, our next story. This is from Kotaku. This is from Alexander Hall. Everything we saw at today's Capcom Spotlight event. So Capcom had a Spotlight event, which was like a mini direct, in which they talked about a couple of games that we already know of, now they already know of. Number one, first thing they sort of showed off was the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Mega Man Battle Network was it a DS or a
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance game? I think it was a Game Boy Advance game that was, as someone who was a big fan, I was super into those games, and it's really cool to
Yeah.
see them released on modern consoles now. I will
Yeah.
probably check this out if I have infinite time in my finite life.
It was Game
Next
Boy
they
Advance, like you said.
next they showed off Street Fighter 6, and they pretty much, there's absolutely no new footage shown off here in regards to like, well, there was a bunch of new footage, and if you want to see someone break it down and show you all the brand new stuff that they revealed in this, go check out a Maximilian Dude video. He'll tell you stuff from like a one frame that like, oh man, they're bringing this back to the game. But the big reveal for this was that we're announcing our final announcer, which is a Japanese actress named Hikaru Takahashi. So Hikaru Takahashi, who so now to round out their 8 announcers in the game for you people, and it's like, okay,
You people.
yes, I exactly said you people with the exact connotation that you believe in it to be. And
Pop off,
then
Avery.
and then the next thing they showed off is that next thing they showed off is that they're doing for the 40th anniversary of Capcom, they're creating a digital theme park, which is a thing. But they also announced the Capcom ID, which I believe is just there for crossplay, for easy crossplay, which is something they haven't really talked about in a lot of their games, but it looks like it's coming to all of them. So the Capcom ID is going to allow people to play on multiple platforms. against each other to create a robust community for all their eventual games going forward. Then they had a big Exo Primal, I want to say showcase, and I
Blowout.
I will say this: I I have no idea what the story of this game is. I
You don't
think
need to know.
the exo suits look really cool,
Hmm.
but man, does this just look like Earth's Defense Force, but with
Yes.
dinosaurs and robots?
Yeah.
Is that so wrong?
It isn't.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Like Exo Primal is one of the games where it pops up on their Capcom thing, and I'm like, oh, Exo Primal, this looks like it could be a fun time. And then the Capcom Direct goes away, and Exo Primal just goes away from my brain. Like I forgot about this game until I saw it pop up, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. And what they show is pretty cool. They show new suits. They show a bit more of the as story as Avery mentioned, where it looks like
I
a
mean, the
bunch
suits
of
look like Warframe on crack. Like they look amazing.
yes, yeah, yeah. And like the story's like some kind of time stuff,
Like it,
mumbo jumbo. I don't
like
know, man.
like it, this. Not even just time stuff. It's like multiple worlds, fucking bullshit.
Can they
Like
Multiverse.
fly? Wait,
yeah,
was that Harry Potter?
Multiverse.
Can they fly?
Can they the suits? Yeah.
I think
Not
I'm
like
not.
Anthem.
Yeah, that's
I,
my thing.
I was about to
If the
say this
suits
might be
like
a
if the
better anthem.
well, that's my thing.
Uh,
That's my thing. If the suits in Anthem looked like the suits in Exo Primal, I probably may have been more excited for Anthem.
Okay. Yeah, so the suits are really cool. Like one of the features that they're like touting is that the suits work as your different loadouts. So you
Mhm,
can switch your suits mid-game.
mhm,
And the whole premise of the game is you are these suits fighting robots or these suits fighting dinosaurs, but you also fight other people. So it's PvEVP or
mhm.
PvPvP or whatever whatever that is,
Yeah, I'm looking at the open beta trailer. We'll try it.
yeah, so it's cool, and then there's also open beta for the f oh, wait, this week coming up. Ooh, I gotta figure out if I
Mhm.
can get into that, and it's a console beta. So the first one was
Mm.
Steam, so I didn't do that. So I'm gonna hopefully I can get in this, see if there's an NDA. If there's not, I will talk about this on the next one if I
There shouldn't
isn't.
be. And the other
Yeah.
big piece of news about Exo Primal is that it's coming to Game Pass, which indicates to me the level of game it is.
What does that mean?
It means it's not a AAA game.
It could be like Hi-Fi Rush, you know what I mean?
I
It
by Rush
could
is
be
an
like
Xbox Studio game, so
I
it
think
operates on different rules.
I think the bigger news to me is that they're doing this Capcom ID bullshit.
We've already
oh,
talked.
okay.
Okay,
That's pretty
Sean was
cool about the
clearly
bigger
not paying
news.
attention to this.
I thought he was gonna say the bigger news in Exo Primal. Josh said, "Fuck that game."
Nah, I mean I'm looking at the page, everything that they announced,
Shown,
and I'm just
yeah.
like Capcom ID. Yeah. But go
Okay,
Mhm.
ahead.
so ignoring Sean being not his earphones not working, him ignoring the 5 minutes me and DJ talked about the Capcom ID.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes it's
the
on out, man.
the next thing they showed off Ghost
During a
Trick,
live podcast.
Phantom Detective, which is an HD remaster of a Nintendo DS game,
Oh,
which is
man.
cool. They showed off more Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. They also announced it's coming to Xbox. So it came to PS5. I'm gonna
Mhm,
say early this year. Now it's coming to Xbox later in the I want to say April 28th. So that's cool for the Xbox
Mhm.
people who didn't get to play this game. They showed off the new trailer for the Resident Evil movie, which I'm still angry that the current games of remakes didn't just wipe out the future of the Resident Evil franchise, and that
mhm.
every one of these movies and games are still in fucking continuity.
Yeah, yeah.
But the only big thing about this is that they're using the new CG model for Jill Valentine as the CG model for these movies. So you've got the Resident Evil 3 remake, Jill Valentine in this movie, next to a guy who I guess is Leon, I guess to a guy who I guess is Chris. Uh, and the last big thing is that they showed off more Resident Evil 4, and they announced that it was getting a demo, the chainsaw demo.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that for me, that would probably be like the biggest announcement because I think the idea of the chainsaw demo is really interesting. Although I do have my gripes about it. So essentially, this whole mode procs from just you randomly starting the game. So you might buy the
No, no, no,
game.
no, 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 no. There is a special mode within the chainsaw demo that only unlocks with RNG. But the actual chainsaw demo is the actual just the demo. And they're calling it the chainsaw demo.
So okay. So
There's like
wait.
an
Okay,
extra
now I'm
hard mode in the demo that only shows up randomly.
oh, that's just in the demo. Okay. That's pretty cool. There, I take it all back. That's pretty cool. I thought this was just relegated to the actual final game, not okay. All right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what? Good job, Capcom. Good job.
It was not it's not a lackluster demo. No, I'm sorry. It's not a lackluster event. It's just more of we already knew what Capcom was going to show. There's absolutely no surprises, and this is still early in the year, and we're still waiting for Capcom to talk about more of their bigger things at other events. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like this is just a
Yeah.
primer to get people excited for. I think this entirely existed to get people to care about Extra Primal and to just tell people about this chainsaw demo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so our final story is once again wading into the waters of the Activision Blizzard acquisition by Xbox. This is from Ethan Gott from Kotaku.com. Activision's poster in chief gives wild look inside Microsoft Sony fight. So as always, a lot of popping off as this fight gets more pronounced on various fronts. As more and more information leaks and not even leaks, more and more information is just flat out told to us by people who should be understanding about the confidentiality of,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
corporate acquisition and merger. Long story short, Sony has said some wild and super dumb stuff over the last couple of weeks. Case in point, that they fear that Microsoft would degrade the quality of Call of Duty on PlayStation 4, on Sony platforms with their monopoly control, which is it's a wild and baseless argument, which is very much in line with what I believe is Sony's endgame and all this, and I'll get to that in a second. They've also talked about how Call of Duty being owned by Xbox would ruin competition. It's I don't really want to talk about the hearsay that Sony's talking points in this because it's baseless, wild, and just out of their ass. Well, the more interesting aspect about this is the key thing of I want to say her Lulu Chang Messery, who, if you don't know who she is Activision Blizzard's CCO, their chief communication officer. She's essentially the head of their PR department. Throughout this entire merger, she's been tweeting about this I want to say, to Sean's point, she's been shitposting about this and about how bad Sony is and all of this, posting memes. She had this wild take about The Last of Us, about Sony that we've talked about in this, which was insane. I have not liked this. Okay, I have not been a fan of this woman, independent of how she feels about this merger and everything like that, based on some of her other tweets, which I just remembered what they were. She's an Elon Musk supporter. There's one. She thinks unions are bad. And she's an Elon Musk supporter, and she thinks unions are bad
CCO
of
at
Activision Blizzard.
Activision, so
Like I said. So earlier in a private conversation, when she was spouting off, and I said, "Look at her boss," and I'm like, this is the type of tenure this woman has. This is the type of company that she keeps. But anyway, her big tweet that popped off all of this was that she pretty much revealed in a closed door setting that Jim Ryan turned to the Activision Blizzard and Microsoft people and said, "I don't give a shit about Call of Duty. I just want to block your merger."
Yeah.
In so many words.
Jim Ryan's like, I don't even know what this conversation's about. I just don't like anything. Oh my god. Yeah, it's okay. So it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because it's like, man, like her stuff is annoying, and that's like, okay, well, we don't know this. We don't. The only reason why we know this person is because of the stuff she's tweeting about this deal. Like beyond that, it's like, all right, well, it's another person on the internet. But it is interesting with the stuff that she is saying, and I guess the fact that PlayStation or slash Sony isn't like, oh, Jim Ryan never said that. Like they're not denying that, so it is kind of like Sony's like, yeah, we of course, like we
I
don't
mean,
want this
why would
deal.
you
Like,
deny it though?
yeah,
You don't
exactly.
dignify some things with a response.
Right, yeah, yeah. Well, that's also true though. But I just believe that like Jim Ryan looked at it as like, yeah, of course I said that. I don't like that. I don't like this deal. This deal's stupid. I just want to go back home and play Uncharted again for the 18th time. Yeah, but yeah, this whole thing is just I just ready for this to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing
Yeah.
about this all is that wow, who would have thought that after everything that all Sony wants to do is block this merger? She's acting like she's dropping this bombshell, but she's
Right.
not. Anyone with a brain realizes what Sony's plan
It
is.
was
So
never a fight about Call of Duty specifically for Sony. It was market share and shit
yeah,
that
like yeah,
Microsoft was buying.
it's like this is like I'm not surprised by what Jim Ryan said, and if I was like yeah, I'm not surprised by what he said, and B,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is my big issue with her, and this is why I've made comments in our chat that like this woman cannot keep her job after when this deal
Yeah.
comes through because she seems to be really bad at PR. Well, not
Mhm.
bad at PR, but doesn't understand how public relations work. In that
You don't have to in this day and age.
it's like
Don't you know we're journalists?
my issue is we she's a mouthpiece for Activision Blizzard. She represents them. She uses her public account, her only account, to talk about all of her business stuff. So she's effectively made her public image her business image, and the level of shit posting that she's made just seems like I don't know. Like one of my
She's
big
saying the
things,
quiet part out loud.
yeah, one of my big things about corporate executives is that like I don't want to empathize with you.
Mhm.
You're doing a job. Do your job. Like here's the thing. It's easy for me to write off everything that Jim Ryan says as dumb because Jim Ryan doesn't come to me and say, oh man, this is how he doesn't try to empathize with me as a gamer.
He's
So
not
like
trying to be cool.
exactly. So like when Sony makes really bad moves, I'm like, okay, this is just corporate bullshit. When Xbox makes really bad moves, I just sit there and going like, you're a person. How did you let this happen? Because all you're doing is trying to empathize and will with me. And like that's a
There's a fine line.
I think that's an interesting way of looking. I don't know. I kind of look at it both sides look at it the same in terms of like corporate bullshit. Like, yeah, Jim Ryan or not Jim Ryan,
well,
jeez.
Phil
Phil
Spencer.
oh, go ahead. Okay, finish what
no,
you're saying.
because yeah, it's all corporate bullshit. Like I don't trust a
Yeah.
single thing that comes out of Phil Spencer's mouth because
Okay.
he's the corporate mouthpiece for Activision. But the difference is that Phil Spencer
No, for Microsoft.
well, he's going to be from Activision soon. My bad.
Well,
But
okay,
for
yeah,
Microsoft, I don't, because he's a corporate mouthpiece. They're both corporate mouthpieces. One of them I can easily ignore as like, oh, he exists only to be a corporate mouthpiece. The other one
Oh, I see.
is a public image figure for that. So when like things like I have to fire hundreds of people for my company, I'm like, and then I say, it's really, I feel bad about this. I'm like, I don't feel bad. I don't empathize with you
Mhm.
in any way, shape, or form because of the sort of thing they represent. All I'm saying is that in this realm, this woman cannot keep her job as corporate relations when this goes forward. I don't
Yeah.
understand it. And in
I
regards,
I see after this whole Activision stuff happening, I literally see her going to Twitter, like becoming some kind of thing in Twitter, especially with her saying like, "Oh yeah, Elon Musk is cool." That's all he needs. He doesn't need a resume. He just needs to know that you like him, and he's like, "All right, cool. What do you want to be in this?" Like, it's crazy.
it's insane. But like, yeah, so it's like that was the big pop-up thing about this. There are other couple of interesting things here.
Yeah.
That
Real quick though, I will say about the Sony talking about how they don't trust Microsoft to release a good version of Call of Duty on their system if this deal goes through. I do think that for them to say something like that, it makes me think of although this is different because this was a Square Enix game, but like Final Fantasy 13 and how it looked on PlayStation versus how it looked on Xbox at the time.
that was self-processor.
Yeah.
Remember the
Okay. Yeah.
PS3
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
different architecture.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
That's
there's
true.
more evidence of Xbox games not like remember Skyrim how it was borked on PS3 but worked fine on Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it makes me think of like Man, that's an interesting thing to say because up until this point, we've never had like something like that come out from one of the
Hmm.
big studios about something like this. So yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah, I just whenever
I
this is
want this.
over, it's over.
I want this to be over. The
Yeah.
only thing I want to talk about because I think it's super funny is this is from IGN. This is from Logan Plant. Microsoft confident it can get Call of Duty running on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Define running,
So
Microsoft.
he, here's my take on this. Here's my take on this. I think this is almost confirmation of like a Switch 2
Yeah.
because I think for them to say that knowing that the deal isn't going to go through this year and it's not like the the next Call of Duty is probably going to be probably what 2 years out or something like that or
No, there's a new Call of Duty this year.
is
Yeah.
there one planned for this year?
Yeah,
I don't see why
Okay.
not.
So yeah, so I definitely think that they are looking ahead in terms of like, okay, well, whatever the next Switch is, we will get Call of Duty to work on that because we've done some talks or whatever. Like, I definitely think that this is just oh yeah, it's the next Switch. Whatever the next Switch is, we'll get Call of Duty working on that because I
my
don't think.
my big thing is there's a lot of asterisks going around in this statement. In that, the big thing about this statement is we're going to put Call of Duty and how it runs on other consoles on Switch. Because that was a big part of their deal about it's not that we're not putting Call of Duty on Switch. We're putting it parity with other consoles on Switch.
Did they say that
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah, they
pretty
the
did.
sure.
parody part?
Yeah.
I think they said that because at
Nah,
least
they
from what I remember, like I remember them saying that yeah, we'll get it running on Switch. I don't think it's ever been like we're gonna get the PlayStation 5 version of Call of Duty running on Switch.
I mean, they can do a streaming dealy bob like they did with
That's what I think. Yeah.
Resident Evil or whatever it was.
I think it would either be the streaming version of it or the mobile version of it get running
Yeah.
on
I yeah,
Switch.
I think I think the deal was it's a dump like here's the thing. Here's why I don't believe this.
Mhm.
There was nothing stopping Activision before this Microsoft deal from putting this on Switch
Hmm.
Mhm.
on Nintendo console. They just chose not to. Like they didn't need it. Like it's a ubiquitous console with hundreds in the wild. They put Overwatch on Switch. Like there's nothing stopping them from doing it.
Yeah, it says if I read into it, they won't take the cloud version approach, and Warzone's engine uh, supports PC hardware with GPU cards from back in 2015, so prior to the release of the Switch in 2017. I
Okay.
mean, we'll see how this goes.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm not confident,
Yeah.
but I'm yeah. But that's the last story. We can move on. We can end this. That was it.
Okay.
More
Um
More Activision bullshit.
All right, we got a couple of minutes. Let's do a quick recap of things we've been playing. Um I will go first because it's really quick. You know what it is. Wild Hearts, it has my heart. I love it. I love that game. A big surprise is that I've been playing a lot less of Gundam and Genshin Impact. I've been playing almost no Genshin Impact. So it's been Wild Hearts, Call of Duty, and then I just do my dailies in Gundam, and that's been like my thing. So that's what I've been playing. It's crazy, guys. Like my life is changing. It's changing.
Mm.
All right, Sean, what you been playing?
So I downloaded Street Fighter Duel, the mobile game, and it is an auto battler actually
Yes.
for the most
I
part.
I also
You got
downloaded that, and I was gonna talk about it, but I was like, I don't I'm not gonna trash this game, like, 'cause I don't like it.
it's for somebody. I just don't know who. What
Yeah,
astounds me is, and I use free loosely. The amount of free shit they give you. The screen is littered with currency. I don't know if you can buy these things. The currency here, free thing here, free
yeah,
thing here. You ch- I check in. I played it daily. Played. You can spend a good 10 minutes just collecting all the free things they have given you,
yeah. It's a
and
lot.
I just like kind of let it run next to my desk while I'm working. Just kind of Street Fighter, fuck
Yeah.
it.
Like,
Um,
comparing that with Marvel Snap is just, like,
yeah.
freaking just night and day, man. I still play Marvel Snap. I absolutely love that game. But, yeah, it's just not for me. It's not for me, you know?
I just don't spend money on mobile games. But it's interesting what they've tried to get up and running. I've played more Call of the Mountain. I am taking it slow. I got some ginger candy, but VR still makes me a little bit nauseous. Especially the climbing when it has you kind of climbing backwards on
Yeah.
mountainsides and shit. But I took down a Thunderjaw, and it's pretty it's an interesting story. It's an interesting little side distraction. It'll be interesting to see if we get longer and longer AAA games in the vein of this.
Okay.
But I am enjoying it. And then I played some more DMZ with DJ and my cousin Savion, and
You know what it is.
brother Lawrence just dropped in on us, Avery, last night, just talking his bullshit. Man's
That
hails
boy,
from Des
man.
Moines, Iowa. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Just the most random. He's like, yeah, I'm in Iowa now. All right,
Yep.
Lawrence. Um, but now we're having fun in DMZ season 2. Shout out to DJ for running from the enemy and bringing him to me to shoot me last night. Thank you, DJ. My man
It was part of the
panicked.
plan, Sean.
Shut up, DJ.
Like,
Avery, this man ran around the corner and sprayed me immediately because he thought I was the enemy. Only for me to see he's bringing the enemy with him right behind him.
the
Good
point
job,
was I
DJ.
was tricking the enemy to think that I was on his team by fake shooting you. That you were supposed to shoot through me and kill him. I don't understand why you don't understand the plan, Sean. Like we were both dead on the floor. I'm like, come on, Sean, what happened?
Mm. I would just
Yeah, it
say
was
I
a great move
love
by me.
proximity chat
Oh yeah.
in DMZ. It is the greatest. We done caught a few people slipping. I throw up the hand like radio silence, and we go to clapping some dudes in that game. That game is the entertainment it provides is hilarious. I will say that.
I agree. Then Avery, to wrap it up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try and keep this short as possible. So, new act of Valorant began, and I do what I normally do: is I jump into the new act to see what's new and see how it's changed the game, so I can get a better understanding of how pro Valorant works. In Act Episode 6, Act 2, we got introduced to a new initiator character named Gecko. I don't play initiators, so I don't play Gecko, but I got to see what this character can do and how he changes the way the game works. And I swear to God, they need to. I cannot wait for this character to get hard nerfed into the ground because his kit is entirely busted. The way Gecko works is that initiators are all about creating opportunities for other players to work off of. Typically are using flashes or other types of utility to essentially enable duelists to do their jobs. The way Gecko works is that he has pets. His character has 4 pets: Mosh Pit, Wingman, Thrash, and the fucking sleepy one, Dizzy. The Mosh Pit is a giant molly that he can throw that covers, like, I don't know, a good 75% of the natural territory, and then explodes and deals damage, explodes after a short amount of time. It can do about 150 damage, which is about the amount of health someone has on low by shield. So if you don't get out of his molly, you're going to die. Then he has Dizzy, which is a super slow flash, but it's a flash you cannot dodge. If he throws it and you're just in its line of sight, you're going to get blinded. It's a short blind with a weird new effect, but it's a blind that you cannot dodge and goes off pretty quickly once he's in your cone of view. Then there's Thrash, which is his ultimate, which is it is a sky dog, which is a recon tool that allows you to control an object as it winds around an area. But it also has the effect of Killjoy's ultimate, which is Detain, which prevents you from doing anything. You just stand there like this for a couple of seconds. His is much weaker. His is much weaker, only lasts 5 seconds instead of 10, but it's still Detain. It hits a big wide area. So if he's on defense, if not even on defense or offense, if you're in a stack and there's a Gecko with his ultimate, you're fucked because he's going to pretty much break open the site by himself. And then there's Wingman, which is the most popular of the little buddies, which is I'm gonna use a term that doesn't mean that he's a raised Roomba, which is a device that you put down a path, it walks down the path until it senses a target, and then it moves towards that target to an effect. The raised Roomba does damage, but his stuns. All it does is stun, but at that wide cone, and that's not his most useful ability. Its most useful ability is that Wingman can plant and defuse the spike. So as long as Gecko's alive, he can just send Wingman out to plant spike and then still shoot his gun.
Oh,
Nice.
interesting.
And he can also have Wingman defuse and still shoot his gun.
That
Uh,
doesn't that seems kind of like a really OP skill.
I'm sure it sounds
yeah.
broken, but it's
Okay. So it
And
is
then what
broken.
makes Gecko the
I
most
was
broken
like,
is that unlike every other character in this game, all of his abilities are rechargeable. In that, when he drops a pet, he can pick it back up and then use it 10 seconds later. So theoretically, you can get off 7 Wingmen, 7 Dizzies, a couple of Thrashes during a round,
wow.
which is like
interesting.
his ability to take space is insane.
Can you kill the pets?
You
Do
can
they have
kill
like health bars?
you can kill all of the pets except for Mosh.
Damn.
But
I feel bad for Valorant because I know they take forever to balance shit. Unlike Apex, they'll let shit ride for a couple weeks and then be like, all right, y'all had enough fun.
Are y'all sure y'all hate this?
it's
Are you sure?
as
Really?
someone who plays both and remembers how fucking broken Seer still is, I'm not gonna throw
They have toned
stones.
down Seer considerably. Come
He
on,
is
guys.
still exceedingly broken.
And not broken enough for the.
Sean, here's my example. We went through a full year of Bloodhound being the most broken character in the game and like the meta pick. Seer came out. We're still in a full year of Seer being a broken character in a meta pick.
I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm enjoying playing Smokes and just not having to deal with Gecko's bullshit, but he's an entirely annoying character to deal with. So
Sorry to hear.
Yeah.
GG's in
Hopefully
the chat.
they patch it a lot sooner than
we'll see if there's going to be a patch for Gecko. We will probably see it in the mid-season of this act or towards Act 2, and that's only if they feel like he's being oppressive. Because we would end up either with a new chamber problem or a new Aster problem.
Is the character white?
No.
Oh damn. Then it can't be oppressive. You know what I mean? All right. Well, that's been the episode, guys. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. My mouth started moving faster than my brain could like spit out the words. Weird thing. Do us a solid and like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. We greatly need and appreciate your support. Please, if you are listening, do us a solid by leaving us a review or just tell it, and tell your friends about how cool our content is. That way you can get another person to listen to us, and that will keep us going for another day. If one day we disappear and you're like, what happened to Press X Start Gamers Digest? It was you.
The blood is on their hands.
Also, we hit the like jackpot and jackpot. We hit the jackpot and we decided that we're actually just going to, I don't know.
I
live
would
on-
still do this podcast if I won the lottery.
You know what? We actually be able to spend more time.
The minute I have the financial independence to just not have to deal with anything in my life, I'm gone.
But I like talking to you guys.
I mean, if I have the financial independence where I don't need to do a podcast to talk to people, they're just people I just talk to in real life, and I'd have the financial independence to be like, oh yeah, you'll make time to hang out with me.
Jesus.
And we can sit and play multiverses all day long. You know what I mean, Avery?
Get out of here.
All right, guys, you take care. You be safe, and you have a good old time, and you keep playing video games like you should. Hold up, let me hit this thing right here.